Corey with Hardcore Gamer. Today we're talking EA Sports College Football 25, and I am with the art director, RBD, as your actual name?
Richard Burgess Dawson. Yeah.
Richard Burgess
Way
Dawson.
too long. Way too long.
A couple questions. Our first one. So we are entering a new era of college football. What does it feel like to be a part of this new era of college football officially?
It's nuts. I mean, honestly, it's nuts. It's, even a year ago, I was, as a leader, you've got to show confidence, but I was quietly freaking out inside, wondering if we can achieve what we set out to achieve, because it's so unusual. I think I was telling you earlier that just to do four things, telling you four of things that EA's never even tried to do before, the amount of content that needs to be there to show that we love every school.
Yeah, you guys were saying, put a number count on the number of faces that are in this game.
So in the real world, it's 85 scholarships times 134 schools minimum. So that's 11,000. So we've got to have coverage for that ready. And then for the game modes, we've got a bunch of generic rosters and so on for the modes. So I think total game world, 16,000 head assets are in the game right now.
Nobody can complain about the lack of heads in this game, because there were 16,000 heads in this game. What type of intricate details can be experienced within the modern game engine that we wouldn't have seen in the past or would not see in Madden necessarily?
I think there's the amount of detail that we can carry. So you've seen some of the runouts with, you've got bands, cheerleaders, flames, you've got cloth dynamics going on, hair dynamics going on, and animals too. Yeah, all those going simultaneously, rendered beautifully, full color, motion blur, all that good stuff, and to the point at which this sounds like a line, but I look at the game sometimes and I have to do a double take.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. The lighting from what I've played so far, everything looks fantastic. There's just details in the crowd now that you point out that are easily discernible, versus something that, and that's partly due, mainly due probably to today's technology. It's been 11 years,
Yeah.
So you're seeing the checkerboard, the grid lines of the colors of the people in the crowd based on how they do on certain days. It's just there's a lot more small things that can be picked out. I don't know if you're aware or not, but after the initial trailer drop, Barstool Sports chimed in with some beef. Are you familiar with that?
Which trailer was that one? The one just...
No, the initial trailer when it came out.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you're familiar with it, but they were upset that Ohio State is getting dunked down by Michigan quite a bit. Can you comment on that?
I cannot. No. I have no dog in that fight. Yeah.
Is there any plan to bring real coaches into the game in the future? Since you're the...
I do not know. But what I will say is you saw how quickly we can generate heads dynamically with machine learning and so on. So that opportunity could be available, but I won't comment on the logistics of that.
Go over some of the behind-the-scenes processes that are done for the entrances.
For the entrances, so as you saw earlier, the motion capture sessions were ridiculous. The detail that we went into to build those props out, to make sure that with the correct weight, correct height. Clemson's building a 2-story ramp and getting.
And I'm from that area. I'm familiar with that. So.
Getting stuntmen to leap down them. It would logistically and just the trophies, getting them weighted right so you can actually see the strain on that, and then getting those put into the game was awesome.
What are some of your favorite entrances in college football? Or let's go with some of your favorite entrances, but what were your favorite to replicate in the process?
I think all the animals are awesome. I think just having a mocap session where we had a team member trying to be Bevo and literally being held back by 4 guys on leashes or reins, if you like. I don't know what the nomenclature is for a cow, but just seeing that play out and seeing it actually translate, because now you're using a combination of hand animation with mocap, and to see that seamlessly come together and just feel alive, that was awesome.
Now, did any of the artwork that you do have anything, rethink this. Any of the art that went into weather, is there anything that you can comment on the weather in the game?
I don't know if you've had a chance to play a rainy game, but just seeing so you'll notice there's raindrops appear on the uniforms, the helmets, and so on. athletes get wet themselves. You see splashes coming up and so on. So yeah, if you get a look at that.
What about snow?
We do have snow.
Okay. Does the snow do the same thing? I guess they would get wet, but
yeah, I'll have to get back to you on that. Yeah, I mean, it looks good to me.
Yeah. Go over how we can notice the difference with the global illumination in this game with the lighting.
Yeah, so usually what you do in most video games is you bake down the lighting. So you place the lights in the scene, hit a bake button, wait, some length of time, and then that would set all that stuff in. And there's so much you need to do with the world to make sure the lights can bake down onto that. We just had to abandon that because every time what would happen is your lighters would light the stadium, and then we're like, oh, it turns out that this school has changed their end zone this year, and they'll send us architectural drawings, and then we'd have to destroy the lighting, unbake it if you like, or throw that away, and then relight it. So that agility, and then you're in groups of artists, then each one is ruining the other's work, and we just had to do away with that. So with the global illumination-based circles, GIBs, that was an opportunity, especially on the power of these consoles, to as you're coming into the game, it's calculating the lighting in real time.
Okay.
It's awesome, and the agility that you have to be able to, with the Stadium Toolkit, respond to real-world changes and get in there. You're not afraid of what you've created, because before, with the baking, you'd be like, okay, don't touch it, no one touch it, you'll break it.
It's good, it's good.
Yeah, exactly.
No way,
do not touch it under any circumstances. So, yeah, it's really, it really does feel like a new era.
Paint a picture for me, art-wise, your favorite setting that you have created in this game. Weather, time of day, team, location, what is your heavenly spot of what you've created?
There's too many to mention. I think some of the the domes were difficult to do lighting wise because the way light bounces around. I think Miami was an interesting one because they're almost a partially covered stadium, so you'll get bright sunlight will splash onto one side of the field, and the other side of the field is plunged into darkness. So to balance that and make that feel right, and then you end up getting all the problems that you would in real life, which is okay, you're placing the camera on one particular individual, either in light and in shadow, and just dialing that in. And again, I think that was one of the first ones where I looked at it, I'm like, oh God, I think we've done it. You just get that, you get that tingle where you're like, I think this looks real, and of course there's, we've always built it field out. So we've always focused on the field and the gameplay first, and then built out from there. So there's always, details. If you push the camera right up into the top of the stadium, where we'd of course, year on year, we're going to build that detail out, but field out was always a mantra when making this game.
Art direction, that wouldn't include the presentation of the game, right?
So to an extent, when we're talking about, this is a partnership between Christian Brandt and myself. So when we're talking about where to put the cameras, the pacing of things, the front end that you see, with all the menu systems and so on, that's also, again, I get blamed for everything you see in the game, rightly or wrongly. But when it comes to laying out which presentation moments we have, one thing I can say about the presentation is, again, from the field out, we wanted to place the cameras where humans can be, not just some wild blimp camera that removes you from the action, something that places you on the field. So if you're on the field sideline, in the tunnels, in the stands, you'll feel like you're there, and to really replicate that from that viewpoint.
Anything specific you did with animations?
I think what you were seeing earlier is it's the mocap and getting those right, because you can see that even doing the knit and line, doing the one-arm press up on the board, just that little bit of strain that a human would have if you keyframe that, you wouldn't quite get those nuances. And we even had, you'll see some of the cheerleaders' routines, they'll do a really tricky flip, and you just see a little bit of strain because they're humans, and this is their action being put in. So having, professional stunt people and cheerleaders, professional cheerleaders coming in and helping us, recreate that in a very realistic way was huge.
So who is your football program of choice?
I can't pick a favorite. That's like it's picking between 100 to 134 children. I wouldn't do that to them. So.
Cool. Well, this is RBD, and we've answered some questions on our art design here for College Football 25. And thank you for your time.
Thanks, Corey.